Let's talk about ships, those massive, floating metal giants that somehow don't sink. They're marvels of engineering, crossing vast oceans and connecting continents, yet there's something almost magical about the way they glide across the water, carrying the world's goods. Ever notice we always call them she? It's not just tradition, it's rooted in maritime law. For centuries, sailors and shipbuilders have referred to ships as female, a practice that's become woven into the very language of the sea. A ship, like a mother, is a vessel. She carries, protects, and delivers precious cargo. The comparison isn't accidental, it's a reflection of the nurturing, sheltering role ships play for both their cargo and their crew. This poetic personification creates a sense of care and responsibility. When sailors speak of their ship as she, it's a sign of respect, even affection, for the vessel that keeps them safe on unpredictable waters. The ship's value isn't just in her steel, but in what she carries: bananas, cars, oil, even people. Every journey, she's entrusted with the lifeblood of economies and the hopes of families waiting at home. Her job is to move goods safely across unpredictable seas. She faces storms, high winds, and the unknown, yet she presses on, a symbol of resilience and determination. Sailors, away from home for months, formed deep bonds with their ships, seeing them as protectors and companions. For many, the ship becomes a second home, a constant presence in a world of uncertainty. In many languages, ship is grammatically feminine, reinforcing the tradition. Whether in English, French, or Russian, the feminine pronoun is a nod to the ship's enduring role as a guardian and provider. So, when you see a container ship glide into harbor, remember, in the eyes of the law, she's a legal entity, a vessel of commerce. She's recognized as having rights and responsibilities, almost like a person. This isn't just sentimentality, it's the foundation of admiralty law. The legal system treats ships as unique entities, capable of owning cargo, incurring debts, and even being sued. The ship is a mother, a bearer of wealth, a vessel of commerce. She's the silent force behind global trade, quietly shaping the world economy. This idea of a vessel carrying value is the key to understanding the strange connections between the sea and our daily lives. Nearly everything we use has crossed an ocean, thanks to these remarkable ships. Stick around, it's about to get even weirder. Let's set sail and discover more about the mysterious world of ships. Our ship approaches port, its journey across open waters nearly complete. The anticipation builds as the coastline comes into view, signaling the end of one adventure and the beginning of another. But docking isn't as simple as parking a car. It's a carefully choreographed process, involving coordination with harbor pilots, tugboats, and port authorities, all working together to ensure a safe arrival. The captain, the ship's absolute authority, must present the ship's papers to port authorities. These documents are more than just paperwork. They're the ship's identity, her passport into the port. The most crucial document, the manifest, a detailed list of every piece of cargo on board, from the largest container to the smallest parcel. The manifest makes the cargo manifest, clear and ready for inspection and taxation. It's the key that unlocks the port's gates, allowing goods to flow from ship to shore. Without it, the ship is just a mystery box. With it, she's a legitimate player in global trade. The manifest transforms suspicion into trust and uncertainty into order. Once approved, the ship is assigned a berth, a reserved spot to unload her goods. This berth is more than a parking space, it's a temporary home, a place in the port's intricate schedule. Arriving at the berth marks the end of the voyage and the start of delivery. The crew springs into action, preparing to offload cargo and begin the next phase of the journey. The captain announces her arrival, signaling to the port that the ship is ready for business and inspection. The manifest declares her cargo, itemizing every good and commodity, ensuring nothing is hidden and everything is accounted for. And the berth is her seat at the economic table, a place where international commerce meets local regulation. This ritual brings order, control, and documentation to the chaos of the sea. It's a system built on trust, transparency, and the rule of law. It's about moving from the lawless ocean to the jurisdiction of the land, where rules and responsibilities take over from the freedom of the open sea. This transition from vessel to port mirrors a fundamental human experience, the need to belong, to be recognized, and to be accepted into a community. The process is a formal introduction: the ship, her cargo, her place in the system. It's a handshake between worlds, a ritual of entry and acceptance. It's a powerful metaphor, and as you'll see, it's been applied to something much closer to home, something that affects each of us every day. The next time you see a ship dock, remember, it's not just business, it's law in action, a living example of how order is brought to the world. And it's about to get personal, as we explore how these maritime rituals echo in our own lives. Here's where things get strange. What if the story of your birth is more connected to the world of ships and cargo than you ever imagined? Let's take the journey of a ship, and use it as a metaphor for your own arrival into the world. In Admiralty law, your mother is seen as the vessel, carrying the most precious cargo, her child you, across the waters of life. When she goes into labor, she's taken to a hospital where a doctor delivers you, just as a ship is carefully guided and docked at port, ready to unload its valuable contents. At that moment, you're issued a birth certificate, an official document that's almost identical in form and function to a ship's birth certificate, which records the arrival of a vessel. The words birth and birth sound nearly the same, and both are used to mark an official arrival, one for ships, one for people. Your birth certificate is your very first legal document, registering you as a new entity in the world, just as a ship is registered when it docks. It's like your personal manifest, listing your name, date, and place of arrival, details that officially record your existence. In this framework, your birth certificate acts almost like a warehouse receipt, acknowledging the arrival of a brand new product, you, into the system. This document is your entry ticket into the legal and commercial world, where you'll be tracked, counted, and recognized by society. The language of birth borrows directly from maritime trade. Terms like vessel, delivery, manifest, and certificate all come from the world of ships and cargo. It's the language of property, assets, and ownership, not just of family and emotion. While your birth is a beautiful, emotional moment for your family, in the eyes of the law, it's also a formal transaction, an official entry into the system. You're delivered into the world, and your certificate is the proof, a legal person, now ready to participate in society and commerce. In this way, the law sees you almost like cargo, registered, inventoried, and prepared to be counted among the population. The parallels between shipping and birth are striking, and they shape the way we're all counted, tracked, and accounted for from the very beginning. So welcome to the world, your paperwork is waiting, and your journey as a legal entity has just begun. If birth is described in shipping terms, what else is? Turns out, much of our legal system speaks the language of the sea. Admiralty law, built for ocean trade, became the blueprint for contracts, property, and disputes on land. Words like cargo, salvage, and lien all have maritime roots. Salvage once meant saving a ship, now it's recovering value from any wreck. Liens, perfected at sea, now secure debts on houses and cars. The sea was the first international frontier, demanding clear practical rules. These rules about contracts, insurance, and liability became the DNA of modern law. Our legal system isn't just sprinkled with nautical terms, it's fundamentally maritime at its core. The language of the sea quietly shapes how we do business on land. If your legal identity is like a ship's cargo, what about corporations? They're ships too. Legally, a corporation is a person, a vessel built on paper to hold assets and limit liability. The corporate hull protects owners from personal loss if the business sinks. This is limited liability, the foundation of modern capitalism. The United States itself was structured as a kind of corporation, managing assets and commerce as a single entity. Citizens become stakeholders. Your birth certificate registers you with the corporate state. Your social security number, think of it as your employee ID. This commercial view of citizenship is rooted in maritime principles. It allows for massive investment and risk-taking because personal assets are shielded. Corporate America is a fleet of paper ships, navigating the global economy. This legal invention for wealth building comes straight from the need to protect ship owners from the dangers of the sea. Our world of business is a flotilla of vessels, each with its own manifest and hull, and we're all aboard. If law is based on water, so is money. We use words like currency, current, liquidity, and flow to describe finance. A riverbank controls water, a bank controls the flow of money. Bankers sit on the riverbank of commerce, directing the current of capital. Money used to be gold. Now it's paper, fiat currency, valuable because the government says so. Banks monetize your assets, turning them into liquid currency that flows through the economy. Depositing a check or taking a loan, you're managing your personal currency at the riverbank. Money flows in and out, and banks profit by managing these streams. The system is built on water metaphors. Wealth is a current, banks as the keepers of the flow. It's the law of water, applied to your wallet. Every transaction is a ripple in this vast financial sea. The next time you visit a bank, remember, you're standing on the shore of an ancient watery tradition, and your money is just another current in the flow. The Statue of Liberty stands in New York Harbor, a beacon for ships and immigrants alike. Her placement in the water is no accident. She's rooted in maritime law. For sailors, liberty meant shore leave, a brief escape from the ship's strict rules. The statue signals arrival, freedom from confinement, and the start of a new life on land. For immigrants, she marked the end of a long voyage and the promise of liberty. She's a symbol of transition, from the law of the sea to the law of the land. Liberty here is both a grand ideal and a practical release from the vessel's authority. She welcomes every ship, every hope, to safe harbor. Step into a courtroom. The judge sits on the bench. Why not a chair? Because bench is another word for bank in maritime law. The judge controls the flow of proceedings, just as a riverbank controls water. Courtrooms are places for settling accounts, not just dispensing justice. The judge is the banker, the referee, ensuring the rules of commerce are followed. Most legal disputes are about money, property, or contracts, assets, and liabilities. The judge's decision determines how value flows. The bench is a symbol of the bank's authority, moved from the river to the halls of justice. Every courtroom drama is a commercial dispute, resolved by the keeper of the flow. The language and structure are pure maritime law, right down to the furniture. We've reached the end of our voyage. The law of the sea shapes our world, from ships and birth to corporations, money and justice. Our society is built on an invisible ocean of maritime concepts. From your birth certificate to your bank account, you're part of a vast commercial system, designed by sailors and merchants. This isn't conspiracy, it's history. The language of ships, water, and banking helps us understand the flow of value in our world. We're all sailors on an economic ocean, guided by maritime law. Even on dry land, we're still governed by the powerful, unseen currents of the sea.